Okay, fantastic. All right, welcome everybody. We are going to be talking about your 2025 game plan tonight. So, my name is Nikki. I am 46 years old. I'm a single mum. I've got an almost 8-year-old. He's 8 on Sunday, so can't believe it. That's kind of my life. In this over the next 15, 20 minutes or so, I'm going to do what I know best, and that is my story. So some of you will have heard my story before and others maybe not so much, but I'm going to talk about sort of the game plan that I think about for myself, and I think you'll get a lot out of it if you can sort of take what I say about me and transpose that for yourself. The biggest thing that I always look at is, why do we need a game plan? Now, I'm a very strategic person. I've always been very strategic. I love spreadsheets and I love planning and lists. But a game plan is a bit of a strategic plan for your life, and it's a vision with your goals, your actions, milestones. And yes, it is going to be for next year. And it's always really good to do this in December. I always do mine in December for the year ahead, because a lot of people wait until January to do it, and then they've already passed some time of the year. You want to be ready to go, and you actually want to start moving into a little bit of momentum now and start moving in that direction now, because most people don't have a plan. Most people might have a New Year's resolution. Most people don't fulfill their New Year's resolutions, and that's the extent of what people have. And if you look at it, and when I started doing this years and years ago, I kind of realized when I started going back over the years that things were declining. So my health was actually declining. My finances were actually declining. My career was progressing because that was where my focus was. So my career was going really well and I was progressing there, but I was making silly decisions with my finances, so I wasn't doing as well. So I started to notice a bit of a pattern. Now, when I started to do a bit of a stock take in December, and I do it throughout the year as well, and I will talk about this tonight, it's amazing what you can change in your life. Absolutely amazing. And the whole concept of this is, what you measure and track, you can change. That's the key. So what we're going to focus on, there is so many things that you can focus on, but I don't want to be here all night and I don't want to keep you all night. So I've just chosen 3 tonight. So 3 that I have put as my most important for next year. So is health, career or finances, and lifestyle. So they're the 3 that we're going to talk about tonight. Now, firstly, what we need to do is take a bit of time to reflect on 2024 and the years before that if we need to. And I want you to sort of think about your situation now. And it was funny, I was listening to somebody last night and he was saying that in the profession that he kind of deals with, the people that were doing the best were so clear on their goals, their future goals, so clear. Like they could tell you in 3, 5, 10 years' time where they'd be living, what kind of holidays they're having, what kind of things they're doing with their children, all of that kind of stuff, because they were really, really clear. But you can't move forward until you actually look at where you are right now. So it's like when you live without a budget, for example, and you have direct debits that come out and you've got bills that come in and you kind of just pay them and you are on a bit of autopilot all the time, and you don't really sort of take stock of, well, what's actually happening with your finances? How much money comes in and how much money goes out? And how does that work in your lifetime? How is your savings going? And all of that kind of stuff. What about your health? You sit there and we just wake up each day, we have breakfast, we go to work, or we do whatever we do each day. And a lot of times we don't take stock of where our health is at. And that is a huge one for me this year. So we're going to start with health. And there's a few things that I really want to focus on this year. So physical activity and fitness, nutrition and diet, mental health and emotional well-being, sleep and rest, and chronic disease management. Now, if someone has invited you to watch this webinar, they will be able to help you very much so in relation to health. And it's why I love what I do, because I'm in the right space to be able to improve my health, because we have incredible products that enable us to do that. So a little bit of my backstory. I have been a police officer with the Australian Federal Police for 25 years. I just clocked 25 years in March this year. And I spent, in that time, I was in Melbourne and Canberra, and I spent about 7 years working over in Jakarta. And I worked in two areas, in people smuggling and counterterrorism. Now, if you know anything about politics, you will understand that counterterrorism and people smuggling were very political. And so there was a lot of pressure that came with working in that environment. And so my health at the time, once again, I wasn't taking stock of my health. I was just going and going and going, and I was working crazy hours. I used to have 5 phones. So every time I went to bed, I'd lay out my five phones on my bed, on the pillow next to me. I would work all hours of the night. I would get called by the Indonesian police at 2 o'clock in the morning, and they go, "Oh, hello, Miss Nikki. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm sleeping." And they're like, "Oh, well, we need you down at the police station. Can you come?" And they'd send a car to come and get me, and I'd get up and go. So I just worked ridiculous hours, and I got burnt out, but I didn't know it until I came home. And one day it hit me. So I kept going. And when I got back, I had to go and see the police doctor and do a regular check-in. And he said to me, "You have been running on adrenaline for the last 4 years. I don't know how you are walking, talking. This is just incredible. You need to take a month off work and do nothing." And I thought, that's ridiculous. I'm completely fine. And I negotiated him down to 2 weeks because I thought it was ridiculous. Because once again, when you're going and you're just in go mode, and this happens to a lot of mums, it happens even when we are retired, because we're still in go mode. We don't look after ourselves, or through the younger years, we haven't looked after ourselves well enough that we actually wear some of that pain, aches and pains in our older years. We don't stop and have a think about it. And so what happened to me is my return from Indonesia was 2012. In 2018, one day I woke up, I was staying at my mum and dad's house, and I went to talk to my mum, and she couldn't understand a word I was saying. She thought I was talking in another language. I was slurring. I was having violent flashbacks of my time in Indonesia. I had migraines. I was confused. I was all over the place. And within 24 hours, I was diagnosed with chronic PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and depression. And that was 6 years ago, right? Just over 6 years ago. And I haven't been able to return to work since. So my health, I woke up one day and my life had completely changed. I wasn't able to do anything anymore. I had hit burnout and gone beyond that. And now my life is completely different. I can't work. I focus day to day on my appointments and doing the things I need to do just to function and, be a single mum. And luckily, I have this business with these amazing people, because they have been my savior as well, because it gives me purpose. And that's the one thing that a lot of my friends in the police force with PTSD don't have. They don't have purpose, and they really struggle. And being in the health and wellness industry, we're able to look at these things. So for me, physical activity and fitness is something that doesn't come easy to me. So I have to force myself out to do it. So I've set a goal to, walk my son to school every day. So I do that. So what kind of goals can you set? Have a look at what you're doing now and go, right, what are my goals going to be for next year? Can I do one extra day, or can I go that one extra block around, around the block and do an extra 10 minutes? For me, my focus is on three things in terms of my physical activity: doing some walking because I can't run, but I can walk, doing some stretching and things like yoga, because I've lost a lot of flexibility, and so I want to give that back. And then the third thing I want to do is a little bit of just light weights so that I feel like I'm strong. Like it's amazing what it can do for your mindset. So they're the three things that I've set for me that I want to do. And so I went to an exercise physiologist. I got them to give me a plan. They gave me 5 stretches to do every day and 5 lightweight movements to do every day. And that's kind of my plan. And I want to do it every day. And what I've done is I've enlisted my almost 8-year-old as my personal trainer, and he's going to do them with me. So, what kind of things can you put in place to help you do these things? Nutrition and diet. A lot of the issues that you have in your life, health wise, come from your gut. And it really does affect your mental health as well. And a lot of this comes back to our nutrition and diet, and you've got to look at supplementation as well. We've got some incredible supplements. I was recommended by my nutritionist to take a probiotic as an example because I needed to improve my gut health. And she looked at the probiotic that we offer and said, I haven't seen one better than that. Take that. So I've been taking that every day, something small that I can do to improve. I'm learning something every day about, I've learned about fermented foods, and I've learned about gut-friendly, anti-inflammatory diets, the Mediterranean diet. I'm cooking different recipes. I'm trying different things. So a lot of that has been, a lot of the girls on here will share recipes, and that's been fantastic. And so that's something that I've been trying, because learning every day keeps your brain active. But learning about the gut health, oh, absolutely incredible. Mental health and emotional well-being. As I said, please, if I can do anything from my story, most people don't know that they're going to burn out until it's happened. It's too late. You need to look after your mental well-being. We have a product called Elite, and I'm addicted to this product at the moment. I take it every single day and I look forward to it. And sometimes I take 2 a day. It's so good for your mental health. So good for your mental health. And I recommend it to everybody that I speak to who has mental health issues, because it has the most incredible ingredients. It's got an ashwagandha in there, which is a mood food. And for me and a lot of sort of burnt out people, like things like brain fog and concentration and memory, the Elite is amazing for that. But mental health is so important. And thinking about little things that you can do, free things, you don't have to pay for them. There's an app called Insight Timer. It has great meditations on there. One thing I really like about it is you can go in and say, I want a 5-minute meditation, or I want a 15-minute meditation, and it will give you what you need, and you can look up different categories. There's a Me 360 app. That one is fantastic to look at your health and your body and all of that kind of stuff. You can look at things like that. Small things I do, like I journal. I journal, and that helps me to get things off my brain and stop my brain racing. Um, I was really finding journaling hard because I was always worried someone would read it and it was private, but it's not about that. It's about just just getting stuff off your mind. So journaling is fantastic. Gratitude every day, even if you just wake up and lie in bed and before you get out of bed and start your day, what are three things that you're grateful for? Like, it sounds silly and it sounds a bit, hocus pocus, but it's not. We need to start changing the way we think about things. Sleep and rest is crucial for your mental health, for your physical health. A lot of people come to us with weight problems, who, putting on weight, whether it's from menopause, whether it's from after childbirth, whether it's, later in life that you're carrying that extra weight. You can't lose weight if you don't sleep properly. You must sleep. Um, our stress hormone cortisol, that's when it goes to work at nighttime. Now, for someone like me with PTSD, my stress hormone, my cortisol is pumping all the time. And so it puts on weight around your belly and around your face, and people hate it. And that's where you feel really frumpy, but you need to sleep well. So one thing I've really focused on is my sleep and trying to get some regular times of when you go to bed, when you wake up. Give yourself a little treat every now and then, have a sleep in, but sleep and rest and trying to get good quality sleep. So for me, I was having restless legs. That was a real problem for me after my pregnancy. So I added a supplement in there that helped with the restless legs and it helps with sleep. And it's been a life changer, absolute life changer. So, talk to the person that invited you. There's a fantastic supplement for that. And think about chronic disease management. So, what things can you be doing now to help your body long term? So, one thing that I have, and it really bugs me, is I ruminate about this is going to happen to me, this is going to happen to mum, this is going to happen to dad, and this person's going to die of this, and this person's going to, and my brain works that way. But what things can we be doing day to day, like we've talked about, little walks around the block, eating whole foods and healthy foods, working on our mental health, having good sleep, all of that is going to work towards that chronic disease management. So be thinking about that all the time. I'm just quickly going to show you here. These are a couple of the products that I use, and if you want some information on them, please ask about them. But these are five of my favorites. The Giving Greens, I have that every morning in my smoothie, and I think it's one of our most underrated products. A couple of scoops, and you're getting like 2 kilos of vegetables in your diet. So we don't eat well enough. Our food, the soil is not clean enough. You're not getting the nutrients you need from your food. The Giving Greens is amazing. Rejuvenex is my lifesaver. It's really fantastic for energy. So I have usually a couple of these at about 11 and a couple at 3 or 4 o'clock. And it gives me that energy without the slump, without the sort of peak and then a dip. And the Elite is that drink I spoke about. I have that with my Rejuvenex, and it's incredible. And a little bit of a hot tip, if you're trying to lose weight, the Rejuvenex will help with that because it will speed up your metabolism. My good friend Paula, you can see her there with a weird looking watch on her arm. This is our CM2 technology, and I was actually having a conversation with a lady over in the United States who has a clinic that just focuses on this kind of therapy. So it's pulse therapy, and it's absolutely fantastic. I wear this band every day to give me energy to get through the days. Um, my friend Amanda Kate has lost 20 kilos, and she swears this band is a huge part of it. For aches and pains, Jody, who's on tonight, she has used this technology to help with Lyme's, and Roma, who's in her nice pajamas there, she's using this technology. There's another sort of a web that goes with it after a knee operation. There it is. She's holding it up. Beautiful. And you can see there the day drops that we have day and night drops here in Australia and a few countries. And these are our weight management systems. So for me, I've never admitted this, but I'll admit it tonight. Because of my medications over the last 6 years, I've put on 50 kilos from my medications. And the doctors have said it's near impossible for me to lose weight. They've given me medications to try and help me stop putting on weight and just lose weight. It's not working, but I have lost weight on these drops. So they are working on your hormones to reset and balance your hormones. So that's just a quick tip. I don't want to spend too much time because our focus is really on our goals. Now, in terms of career and finances, I've put a few things here that are important to me. So, passion and purpose. I think this is important for everyone of all ages. So many times, and I loved my job as a police officer, absolutely loved it, and I lived and breathed it. I would stay, beyond my normal shift, and I would just keep working and working, and I was really passionate about it. Now, when that got taken away from me and I couldn't work anymore, where was my passion? Where was my purpose to get up every single day? And it has to be more than just my child, because he goes to school now. So once he goes to school, where's my passion and purpose gone from 9 o'clock till 3 o'clock? Um, for me, my passion and purpose is helping people, and I do this business and I work with some amazing people, and it really does keep me going, and I love that. And it might not be what you like in terms, it could be something else. It could be gardening, it could be volunteering. There's got to be something outside of your career, because at the end of the day, you're going to retire. And then I remember when my mum retired, she's like, oh, they're never going to cope without me. I'm so important to them. They don't remember her now that she's retired. It's all done. And I said that to mum. As soon as you finish, they'll replace you with somebody else, and that's it. And that you can't just have your career. And that's where I went wrong. I burnt out because my career was what I lived and breathed. And that was my passion and purpose. So you've got to have something outside of that. And it's got to be more than just your children. It's got to be something for you. So whatever that is. Personal development and growth is really important, and a lot of people don't do it. I do it every single day. So I listen to something, I learn something. And part of my plan in terms of my trauma recovery was to learn something new every day. Because when you become unwell, your brain starts to slow down. And when you get older, your brain starts to slow down as well. When you're burnt out, your brain starts to slow down. Everyone says, oh, it's mum brain. But that only lasts a period of time. It doesn't last forever. But people still blame mum's brain. You've got to keep your brain moving, and you've got to be moving forward. You've got to grow. So, what things who are you listening to? Who are you hanging around? What kinds of things are you just watching Netflix or reality TV shows? Is that your life after work and that's all you do? Or do you do something else to grow? So think about that. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't do that. I love jumping on things like this because I would learn something. So I listen to different Zooms or, YouTube clips or podcasts and lots of things like that. So I'm growing all the time. So what kinds of things in 2025 do you want to do and grow? Do you want to learn a new language? That's a fantastic one. Do you want to learn an instrument? That's fantastic. And that builds into your passion and purpose as well. Planning for the future, really important. I lived for a long, long time going, I don't have to understand about superannuation. I'm too young. I don't need to be bothered with that. And then since I've stopped working, it's become more important because now I'm kind of going to be on a pension earlier than my retirement age. Um, Have I got enough to survive? I've never looked at that. How much money do I actually need? People don't know. So many people are living paycheck to paycheck at the moment. The cost of living is so high. You go and get a bunch of groceries in a basket and it costs you $60. I remember you could fill a whole basket and pay $10 before with fruit and vegetables, but now everything is so expensive. So many people these days are looking for a side hustle or something extra. They're looking for overtime or something extra that brings some extra income into their house. What you've got to try and do is look for something that has a residual kind of income and some passive income. So you're not always trading time for money, because what we want to do, remember, is live with passion and purpose. We want to focus on things like our fitness and our health. We don't want to constantly be working because we'll just burn out. So, what kinds of things can you be doing that create money for you and bring in that extra income and help you start planning for the future? What things can you be thinking about now? I love paying it forward, thinking about service to others. Um, there's nothing more gratifying than helping somebody who needs help. And I just think it's lovely to be able to do that and do nice things for people. And if one, you've got the money to be able to do that, you can do things like that. But secondly, make it as something that you want to do in 2025. What is something you can do to help somebody else? And a lot of things don't cost money or time. It might just be, you know, something that you support, but look for something like that. And lastly, think about, as I've spoken about, stress and burnout. So your career cannot be the be end all to what you do. And so many people I say, oh, my husband, he's working so many hours just to bring in an income because I'm raising the kids and he's exhausted and he doesn't see the kids. It's crazy. You can't live like that. That's not what you want your life to be like. So make a decision now that you're going to make some changes. So if you need to make some changes, well, you need to go, all right, well, where am I going to get extra income from? Or what am I going to do? It's about happiness, living with happiness. And that's where we get to on lifestyle. For me, it's about thinking about what is that dream life. It doesn't mean you have to live in a mansion and drive a Mercedes. That's not necessarily what a dream life is. For me, it's just happiness. I just want to be happy. I love road trips with my little boy. I love going down to our caravan. I like that sense of freedom. I just want to love my life. I want to feel fulfilled. The people that I want in my life, I want you to think about, you're driving a bus, and I want you to decide in 2025 who is on your bus and who are you kicking off your bus. Who is on your bus at the moment that is sucking the life out of you, that drags you down, that makes you think negatively, that takes all the fun out of things? Who are you letting in on your bus that you need to kick off? You need to decide who is on your bus. And that was a big decision I have started making. And what that means is sometimes saying no to things. And a lot of people talk about, I'm going to make 2000 and, say 25, my yes year. I'm going to say yes to more things. When people say, okay, I had a friend the other day who's on this Zoom and said, hey, we're going to go to our conference. Do you want to stay with two random strangers? And to me, I'm like, that's like so outside of my comfort zone. And I just went, okay. And she's like, I'm helping you step outside your comfort zone. Um, it's a big deal for me to go and stay with strangers, but why not? It's not going to hurt me. I'm not going to die from it. Like, okay, let's do that. Let's have some fun. Let's go away. Community is massive for me. I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the people that I work with in this community, because my policing community, I've had to walk away from. I've had to actually kick them off my bus so that I can choose to get well. And when I was working 24/7, who else was my community? There wasn't anybody else. Of course, I had my family, but a lot of my friends, they didn't understand how I kind of lived my life. They didn't understand that policing life. So I've had to find a community of people that have the same kind of passion and purpose that I do. And it makes such a massive difference feeling like you're part of something. You're part of something bigger than you. And what I love about our community here, particularly, is we are all about helping people. And I always say to people that come to me about, what I do, and I say, if you're not the kind of person that likes helping people, you're not going to be any good at what we do. You've got to want to improve people's lives, but you've got to want to do that for yourself as well. So, lastly, I want you to think about tracking your goals. So, I want you to think bigger about, in that sort of 3, 5, 10 years' time, what do you want life to look like? What kinds of things? And be as descriptive as you kind of can. And I've got a little notes section on my phone, and I add things to it all the time. Today I added, I want to go to Tony Robbins events every year, because I love Tony Robbins. Um, so, what kinds of things do you want to have in your life that's going to be your life goal? And then you can break it down and go, all right, but for 2025, where are we going to go? And remember how I talked about moving forward and always looking forward? So, our annual goal for 2025, we want to start making steps towards that life goal. So, what things can we do? We're going to take stock of where we are at 2025. If, for example, it's about your health, you might do something that is as simple as, what do you weigh? How much weight do you want to lose? That's the first thing I ask people who ask me about our drops. I ask them, how much weight would you like to lose? Because then at least I know their goal. And for me, I always feel better when there's a plan, right? So there's nothing worse than going, okay, I want to lose 25 kilos. No, oh, fantastic, we'll do that. But to know kind of where you're going, so your annual goal is, I want to lose 25 kilos. So then quarterly and then monthly, what does that look like? And then you start going, how am I going to make that happen? So if my goal is to lose 25 kilos, what am I doing now? Because if I do what I'm doing now, I'm not going to lose any weight. I'm going to stay where I am. So I have to make changes to lose the 25 kilos. So what kinds of things can I put in place? And then I want you to write that down and then go, right, what else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? And write a big list of things that you can do so that you never run out of options of things to be able to do. And then break them down and go, this month, what is my focus? Okay, I'm going to try and do 10,000 steps. You see people doing those walking challenges, and they want to do 30,000 steps or 40,000 steps in a month. Fantastic. Sharon has been doing park runs, and she's been walking them. Fantastic. They're new things that you can do. You have to make changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And that is the most important thing to remember. So take stock of where you are at now and be really realistic and honest with yourself. Where are you? Think about your different things that you might not be focused on those same three things as me: health, finances, and lifestyle. There might be other things in your mind that you want to focus on. Relationships is a really big one. I'm not in a relationship, so for me, that's not an important focus for me. But for other people, relationships might be a really big one. So that's a good one. Another one might be your spirituality, and that might not necessarily be religious, but that is another one that people like to look at as well. So take stock of where you are right now And then be really honest and go, if my life was exactly how I want it, what would I look like? How would I feel? Where would I be living? Who would I be living with? What things would I be doing in my spare time? What things would I love to be able to do? Oh, I'd love to be able to go on holidays and speak, Spanish and be able to talk the local language. What things would you love to do? And then break them down and go, all right, how do we get that done? What kinds of things can you implement to make it easy on a day-to-day or a week-to-week basis that actually get you moving forward in 2025 so that when you get to December 2025 and you reflect on your year, you can go, wow, so much has changed. So much has changed. And some things might not have moved too far, but hopefully things have moved forward. Maybe you've got more savings in your bank account because you've been able to save $5 extra a week. It's small things. It doesn't have to be massive, but you need to know where you're at and you need to know where you're going. So that's all I have for you tonight. I just really wanted to give you that rundown of kind of where I'm at and see if that resonates with you. Did anybody, can you just put your hand up if this has made you think of maybe where 2025 needs to change for you a little bit? Yeah. All right. Do you think you can make some positive changes? Yeah, I think you really can. And it's amazing. We just go on too long. And I'm going to single Sharon out again. Sharon's in the medical field. Sharon, I bet you see so many people that come in to the hospital and they haven't thought about their health for a long time until it's too late. Yeah. And
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you only have one life and you've got to look after your health because, everything hinges on that. When you've lost your health, you've lost your quality of life. You can't do the things that you wanted to do. So, when you're prioritizing things, you really need to think about the cost of not having your health. Like you might think it was expensive to pay for good quality supplements or things like that. But if you don't, your quality of life is definitely going to change.
absolutely. So, thank you for jumping on. I hope that this has given you just some things to think about. You're going to hear and see so many things. It's a very busy time of year, but please do this because you don't know when things are going to change. Like me, I woke up one day, my life is completely different. And now I live with regrets of things that I didn't do, that I should have done, that I probably wouldn't be in this position, and I have to adjust my life to live in a different way now. But there are so many things that you can put in place. So please do that. Go back to the person who introduced you to this Zoom and talk to them. They're fantastic, not necessarily about our products or what we do, but even just talk to them about these are my ideas so that you've got someone with that like-minded thinking about wanting to change, wanting to be better, wanting to move forward and have that conversation because it really helps to have that conversation. So I'm just dobbing everybody in to become your like counselor friend and have that. So thanks for jumping on, everyone. I will see you later, and happy Christmas and New Year to everyone. And for those that are going to watch on the recording, I hope that you get something out of it. Thank you.
I've